Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Friday, September 9th, 2016. I'm Fredicia Liebert. St. Kitts and Nevis's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Deputy Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, has welcomed recognition given to Nevis's thrust in geothermal development by U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, who delivered the keynote address at the 20th Annual CFA Conference in Washington on September 7th. Minister Brantley expressed the hope that with continued U.S. assistance, this project can be brought on stream for the benefit of the people of Nevis and the island's environment as quickly as possible. According to Vice President Biden, one of the major ingredients for economic growth is securing access to energy that is affordable and reliable. The U.S. Vice President said energy security in the region has been a priority for their administration from the beginning. He pointed to the costs of energy in the Caribbean, which he said are the highest in the hemisphere due to the island's dependence on imported oil, which could be a game changer. The Vice President noted that he met twice in 2015 with Caribbean leaders to support their efforts to transition to cleaner, more affordable energy. Hence the reason the United States launched the Caribbean Energy Security Initiative in 2014. Since then, there has been some important progress to diversify island energy supplies and start bringing down the costs. A new deal to export natural gas to Jamaica, a new geothermal power purchasing agreement in Nevis, and a restricted electrical grid in the Bahamas to speed up transition to a modern, diversified power system, he said. The next major event on the calendar of activities for the celebration of the 33rd anniversary of St. Kitts and Nevis's independence is the Prime Minister's lecture series. That event will take place in Nevis for the first time at the Nevis Performing Arts Centre on Monday, September 12th.
A commitment was made by the government that one major event will be held in Nevis as we celebrate our independence. Last year it was the National Service of Thanksgiving, and this year we are pleased to bring the lecture series to Nevis. The aim of the Prime Minister Lecture Series is simple: to provide an event that provokes, inspires, and moves our people to act for the continued forward movement of our beloved Federation. The speakers are leaders in their fields. The hope is that our young people can see in our speakers possibilities for themselves. Our community see what we can do by coming together and be inspired by the words and rally for the forward movement of our nation.
The guest speaker for this year's lecture will be Larry Quinlan.
Mr. Quinlan is currently the Chief Information Officer for the American operations of Deloitte, a worldwide company that provides audit, consulting, financial advisory, risk management, and tax-related services to selected clients worldwide. As in previous years, the guest speaker speaks to the Independence theme. This year, the theme for our Independence celebration is promoting prosperity through sustainability and national unity. Mr. Quinlan is Kittitian by birth and is a product of our local and regional education systems prior to migrating to the United States. I encourage all to come out and hear from Mr. Quinlan. Like in previous years, it will be dynamic. Come out early. This event will start promptly at 6 p.m.
Grell Brown of the 2016 Independence Planning Committee. In more independence news, a notice from the Premier's ministry is advising uniformed bodies who would like to be a part of the 2016 Independence Day Parade of the practice sessions. All groups and clubs who are interested in participating in the 33rd anniversary of Independence ceremonial parade are asked to be present and punctual for the practice sessions next week. The practice sessions will take place at the El Cemido T. Willett Park at 4 p.m. on Monday 12th and Wednesday 14th September 2016. The Nevis Tourism Authority NTA has announced its appointment of Tim Thuel as the new chairman of the NTA Board of Directors to serve for the next term. Thuel is a general manager of Nisbet Plantation Beach Club, where he had served as general manager for many years. He recently returned to this position after hiatus to pursue other opportunities elsewhere in the hospitality sector. Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Mark Brantley, who has welcomed Tim Thuel and his family back home to Nevis, says he is happy to appoint him board chairman. In light of the critical role played by former General Manager of Nisbet Plantation, Alistair Forrest, Minister Brantley says he has decided to appoint his successor to this key position. Thewell, according to Minister Brantley, brings fresh ideas, a keen knowledge of the tourism industry, and a strong understanding of what is needed to elevate Nevis in the minds of the travelling public. Other members of the Nevis Tourism Authority's board have been reappointed. Edward Gannon, General Manager of Four Seasons Resort Nevis, Evelyn Henville of the Nevis Historic and Conservation Society, Ernie France, Managing Director of TDC Nevis Limited, Colin Doerr, Permanent Secretary in the NIA's Ministry of Finance, Gary Colt of Coconut Grove Restaurant, and Richard Lupinacci of the Hermitage Plantation Inn. Still to come, Prime Minister urges Chamber to ensure businesses pass VAT savings on to consumers. The details after this break.
Welcome to Nevis.
It's easy to believe that all Caribbean islands are the same until you visit Nevis.
Nevis is the Caribbean of a bygone era.
You will enjoy a most intimate vacation on Nevis. You're only a stranger here once.
We offer exclusive and barefoot luxury stays.
With only 400 hotel rooms, our island may be exclusive.
But the warm, genuine and friendly welcome is just everywhere.
We look forward to meeting you.
Visit nevisisland.com.
Welcome back. The Department of Agriculture recently received an automatic weather station from the Department of Environment on St. Kitts. As part of the component for capacity building, 6 officers were trained in operating and servicing of the automatic weather stations in St. Kitts and Nevis. Kaya Wilkes and Wentworth Smithen are the 2 trained officers from Nevis.
We did our training in St. Kitts in early July. Lasted about 2 weeks. I myself and Mr. Wentworth Smithen, where we learn about the sensors, the installation, the troubleshooting, and also the setup of the whole schematics of the automatic weather station. I myself and Mr. Smith was successful in passing the 2-week program, and we are quite happy that we were a part of this program as well, learning about the instruments and how it can be used not only between the departments of the Met Office and the Department of Agriculture and the disaster management, but how we can share our information with other countries and amongst ourselves here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Forestry Officer Floyd Liebert expressed his gratitude on behalf of the Department of Agriculture.
I'm hoping that we could get a full-fledged Met station here at Prospect that can be used not only for us here, but for other parts of the island and for students. I mean, we are an experimental station here at Prospect, and we want to continue to experiment and to show persons that it is critical to know your rainfall patterns so you can plan. It is also critical because we are into onion productions, and if we analyze our rainfall data and we find that trend and pattern, we'll be better able to plant so as to have our onions coming in during times where there is not much rainfall in terms of the harvesting period. So I'm happy. I want to thank all those who are part of this project to get it here to us.
The handing over ceremony took place at the Department of Agriculture in Prospect. The Chamber of Industry and Commerce has been urged to work with its members to ensure that the removal of value-added tax VAT from food, medicines, and funeral expenses is passed on to consumers. The call was made Wednesday, September 7th by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, during an appearance on WinFM's Voices radio program. He said the chamber must ensure that there is no gouging of customers, that it encourages its membership to ensure the pass-through of VAT. The 17% VAT was removed from 3 areas in April 2015. While some complaints have been received by the Department of Consumer Affairs about high prices, particularly for some food products, Prime Minister Harris said the effects of the removal of VAT can still be felt. Several officers at the Department of Consumer Affairs are charged with the regular monitoring of prices at shops and supermarkets as part of their duties to ensure that consumers are subject to unscrupulous practices by some businesses. Prime Minister Harris promised the listeners of the show that a review will be done to see what improvements may be necessary to further enhance consumer protection in this regard. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredicia Liburd. Thank you for viewing.
O land of beauty,
a country where peace abounds.
Thy children stand free
on the strength of will and love,
with God in all our struggles.
St. Kitts and Nevis be
a nation bound together
with a common destiny.
As stalwarts we stand
for justice and liberty.
With wisdom and truth,
we will serve and honor thee.
No sword nor spear can conquer.
For God will sure defend.
His blessings shall forever to posterity extend.
Truly, one of the few places that has an untouched beauty that has captivated the hearts of many. Nevis is everything you imagine.